Hey everybody, what's going on? Today in this tutorial we're going to look at the third quartile of a sit and go tournament. If you haven't watched the first two, then go back and watch them now, because otherwise this isn't going to make any sense to you. I believe the third quartile starts at the 75, 150, 100, 200 level, and depending on what has happened throughout the tournament, it may well be that there's still players all in, everyone's still in the tournament, but this is unlikely. And if there is still everyone in the tournament, it's going to be quite strange, but the blinds are going to be quite high in comparison to the stack, so it's going to be quite crazy. People are going to be going all in and playing very aggressive. What's likely is that there's going to be people that have been knocked out of the tournament, and everyone's going to have chipped up a little bit and have a bit more of a stack going for them than they did at the start of the tournament. So there'll be room to maneuver, and you could still wait around a little bit, but what you should try and do is start being more aggressive, shall we say. You need to be more selective on what you're doing and stealing when you can, because the blinds now are at a point where it's a considerable amount of chips out there that you should be trying to get a hold of, and you should be trying to jockey for position for the next quartile when the blinds start to get really big. You want to have a stack that will allow you to push people around and navigate your way to the top without risking much, without having to go all in. You want to be the person that's sort of poking around in pots, trying to just take them down without showdown. And if people go all in, you only call them if you've got the goods. Now, in the third quartile, you need to be very careful of picking on short stacks, because they are now at like a critical level. For example, they could have like 700, 800 chips and the blind's 150, so they're looking for any reason now to go all in. So when it comes to raising, when you're entering a pot, I'd recommend coming down from the 3x that I recommended previously, and you could even go as low as just the minimum 2 times the big blind, or 2.5. I usually stick to 2.5 because 2's too little and 2.5 seems to just scare people. I don't know why, it just seems to scare them off. I mean, you might think, well, this is, you've only knocked off 0.5 off of the amount you're raising, but that really does add up. And it could happen to you about 5 times where someone goes all in, you have to fold, and those chips will just add up over time. And as always, position, position, position. Like every single hand that you play at this stage in the tournament, you need to have position, because you just want to be able to c-bet that board and then they fold. And if they call along, then you could be in a spot of trouble. It's not exactly what you want to happen, so yeah, position is very important. By now you should definitely know who the weak players are at the table. You should have noticed that some people are just little mice. They just aren't playing any hands. They're only playing when it's a really strong hand, so you can just hammer them away until you've got practically all their chips. But you need to be careful, because your image is everything. You need to realize what your image is. If your image is that you always bet on a flop, for example, you always continuation bet, if you hit that board, you have to remember that you don't go, oh, I've hit top pair, I'll check, because then you've just completely gone against what you're trying to do there. They'll look at you and go, oh, this guy always bets and now he's checked to me. To be honest, to me that would be like, well, he's probably hit that board, because for once he's checked and he's trying to make me bet. So you should try and pay attention to the way that you play, as well as how they all play. And yeah, but the people that you want to target, I would say, are the mid-range stacks. As I was saying, you should be careful of the short stacks, because the mid-range stacks have something to lose. They are the people that are sat there on around, shall we say, 2,000 chips, and they're in a precarious position where they don't really want to tangle with you, because they know that if they lose a big pot, they're going to be stuck on around 900 chips, 1,000 chips, and then they've lost all their chance almost of winning the tournament. So really, it's those guys that you want to. They're in the big blind. You'll think, yeah, why not? I'll go for 2x or 2.5 and try and take it off them, because they're much more likely to be like, oh damn, I'll just give this one to him. I'll try and survive here. And yeah, that's about it really for the third quartile. So as I said, you sort of progress more, and you need to start being more aggressive when you can. Should you be short stacked, in the third quartile. If you've watched my M zones video, you'll know what I'm talking about when it's time to change gears and become super aggressive. My recommendation for what to do with a short stack in late position is, if there's no raise in front of you in late position, go all in with all pairs, any hand which you reasonably think should be ahead, for example ace, X, all those hands, any hand with an ace, king 10, king jack, king queen, all of that. And the reason you do this is it's likely you'll be called by worse hands, as they expect you to be making a last ditch effort for your tournament to try and chip up or just about survive. And it's important to do these jams because you desperately need to double up or to take the blinds, because a large percent of your stack, they're probably going to be around 30% of your stack, just the blinds. And let's face it, no one wants to just be blinded out of a tournament. So this stage, you basically, to conclude, you are trying to be more aggressive and trying to take down pots, because those pots now are vital, and you want to try and just get in there for cheap and try and take them down for as little as possible. C-betting is highly important, but if they call your C-bet, I'd recommend shutting down on the turn, but it really does depend on the person you're against. And as I said, it depends how many people are still in the tournament in the third quarter. Sometimes you'll get there and you could be heads up. I mean, some tournaments just blow up out of proportion and people just go nuts in the early levels, and you'll find yourself 50, 100 blinds and you're heads up against someone in a crazy heads up match that goes on for about 30 minutes. But yeah, it ultimately depends on that, and that's about this quartile summed up. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, bye.